Sorry, just checking. My voice is sitting very low today. Hi Jan, good to see ya. My teachers sometimes have me do things like ming 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 ming. It's like a body motion that sort of simulates the sound I'm trying to make. Ming 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 ming, or ming 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 ming. It's like an up and a down feeling, and it also acts as a like a muscle relaxer. It breaks up tension if there is any. Really get it in your nose. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. I'm thinking NG. Mouth all or mostly closed. Are those your grandkids, Teal? They're beautiful and cute. Hi, Judy Ball, Illinois. Let me turn down my keyboard. Dave says it got static in it. How do I get there? There we go. Sorry about that. Turn it down a little bit. See if this is better. Is that better, Dave? It's about half the volume. So I want to try something that I did with my choir in Arlington Heights on Wednesday. I want us to spend more time in our head voices. And this is going to be a vocal fry and then a glissando or a slide up to whatever is a comfortable high note in your head voice on an NG, and then back down. So it's going to sound like this. So I went up to like a B, just kind of accidentally. So I'll listen again. My voice is kind of froggy. Just try it. Vocal fry to NG, slide up as high as you can comfortably, don't hurt yourself, and then just come back down. And do it again. So women should be way up here, you know, A, B, C. The men are down an octave, A, B, C, somewhere around in there. It doesn't really matter, just so long as it's high. Try again. Okay, so the vocal fry is ensuring that our chords are meeting. The NG sound is ensuring that the nasopharynx is open, because you can't make an NG sound without that being open. And then the slide is making sure that we're getting up into head voice. So then the next thing would be we would slide up and stay up there for a minute like this. Whatever that high note is that's comfortable, stay up there for a few seconds, still on the NG, and then come down. Try that one. Try it again. So this is just getting the head voice working a little bit. I know this is a strange exercise for some of you, but just some of you are not used to singing in your head voice. You know, it's not used to singing way up there, and you can, it's just that you haven't. So this is kind of a safe way to do it to get started. So eventually we will, instead of an NG, we'll use an oo or an E, and we'll start spending time in our head voice. One more time. One more time. So for me, I'm ending up on a B flat, just to get my head voice muscles working. Okie doke. Let's sing through the concert. We'll stop as much as we need to. We can work on anything we want to, in as much detail as we want. Dave, did you tell me that you're going to come sing with my choir in Arlington Heights for the concert?
No, I was planning on singing in Evanston next Saturday, 3rd.
Okay, great. Anybody who's not in the Arlington Heights choir who wants to sing another time, you're welcome to come sing with my choir. The more the merrier. Okay, let's. I've got them in my book in an order that I saw on the website. I don't. Let me see here. I think it might be the order. Let me just double check real quick. There is a concert book. It's got all your names in it. Where's the order? Joy in the Morning, Christmas Gloria, Hava Nashira, In the Bleak Midwinter, which is really Midwinter Carol. Beautiful Star of Bethlehem, Carol of the Bells, Ecce Novum, Wreath of Carols. I'll say it again. So that is the order. Joy in the Morning is first. Then A Christmas Gloria. And then Hava Nashira. And then Midwinter Carol, which is listed in the program as In the Bleak Midwinter. Then comes Beautiful Star of Bethlehem. Then Carol of the Bells. Then Ecce Novum. And then A Wreath of Carols. So let me get up my digital performer session of Joy in the Morning. Say hello to my friends. That's my older daughter, Chloe, the next generation of musicians to hit the scene. Okie doke. I think I've got the volume set from the last time, but just give me thumbs up or thumbs down. Here we go. Flute. Da-da-da-dee-da-da-dee-da-da-dee-da-da. 1, 2, ready, sing. So I'm going to stop it right there because in our rehearsal, sometimes the sopranos and altos have trouble after the long joy 1, alto, soprano, alto. Some of them are having a little bit of trouble either finding the rhythm of that or the note. Is that happening in this group as well? So on the long joy, here's the bass, tenor, alto, alto, soprano, soprano. The long joy, this is the third measure, top of 4. 1, 2, ready, go. Jaw. 2, 1, 2, 1. Alto. Soprano. So 1. Alto, soprano, alto, alto, soprano, alto. Do the long joy again, and we'll kind of break this down. Third measure, top of 4. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Alto, soprano, alto, alto, soprano, alto. Does that help at all to kind of stop it like that? I know it's hard sometimes in the flow of the song to nail. That's kind of a tricky moment. Some of the altos were saying they didn't feel like they were getting their note until like the third one. So here comes again from the top. I'm going to drink coffee with one hand and conduct with the other. Ready, sing. Alto, soprano, alto. I just had an idea. Since I have control of the parts separately, why not use that control to do this? Here we go, right where you sing. This is without the tenors and basses. And so here's the long joy. Now we'll put the tenors and basses back in. Here's 2 bars before everybody's entrance. 1, 2, ready, sing. Villagers on this frosty tide, let your joy swing open wide. The wind may follow and snowy tide, yet draw a sound by your fire to bide. Villagers on this frosty tide, joy shall be yours in the morning. The other thing we talked about in my rehearsal is just to make sure that it's yours. Sometimes we have a tendency when it's fast like this to say, joy shall be yours. Joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy shall be yours. Make sure the yours comes out long. Okay, continuing. Ready, sing. Villagers on this frosty tide, let your doors swing open wide. The wind may follow and slide, yes, slide, as if by your fire to fire to villagers on this frosty tide, joy shall be yours in the morning. Everybody getting their parts on this verse too? The altos sometimes struggle because it's a tricky little alto part. It doesn't look hard, but then when you try to do it at this tempo, everybody okay with that? Okay, I'm going to run it back just 2 measures, so you'll hear the last phrase of this verse. This is top of 7. You're going to hear. Joy shall be yours in the morning. 1, 2, ready, sing. Joy, 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 joy. Here we stand in the golden seat, blowing fingers and stamping feet. Come from away to greet you by the fire and the street. Villagers frosty tide, joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy, 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 joy. Villagers on this villagers on, swing open wide. The wind may fall each night, you shine, sit by your fire tonight. Villagers on, joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy shall be yours in the morning. So it's interesting to lead a rehearsal where I can't hear anybody, because I feel like my greatest asset as a rehearsal leader is reacting to what I hear. So the thing that helps me the most has been removed from the equation. So then I have to guess, what do you need? What instruction or help do you need, without actually hearing it? So The things that happen when I do lead this song live, the common issues are the word yours coming out as yours instead of yours, or I say it and then we do it the first few times and then we sort of forget as the song goes on, we sort of forget. So I'll just, in case that's happening for you, just make sure you say the word yours that consistently the whole way through. Another common thing is on the bottom of page 11 at the very end, joy shall be yours off. Joy shall be yours off in the morning off. Some people are wanting to just hold those a little bit long, but the cutoff is real precise. Joy shall be yours in the morning off. Another thing was sometimes on the joy, 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 people were it was coming out more like this. Joy, 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 joy. Not on purpose, but a little bit on accident. Too much E in the joy sound. So I had my choir say, just make sure you hold the joy, 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 joy. The E is just the very last second. Joy, joy. So that what we hear is mostly the sound in the joy, joy, joy. Now I know I stopped a lot to talk about problems that I didn't actually hear. So tell me, is there anything about this you want to go over? Do you want to do it again without me stopping? Do you feel like you know it? Anybody have anything to say? If not, we can move on.
Yeah, let's do it once straight through.
I know Dave and some others are not currently attending weekly rehearsals. So this is some people, this is their only chance to sing it. Okay, here it comes from the top, and I won't stop this time no matter what I don't hear. Ready, sing. Villagers, all this frosty joy, let your joy swing open wide. The wind may follow and snow betide, yet draw us on by your fire to ride. Villagers, all this frosty tide, joy shall be yours in the morning. Villagers, all this frosty tide, let your joy swing open wide. The wind may follow and slide, yes, slide as in your fire to ride. Villagers, all this frosty tide, joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy, 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 joy. Here we stand in the cold and sleet, blowing fingers and stamping feet. Come from away to greet you by the fire and the street. Villagers, frosty tide, joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy, 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 joy. Villagers, all this villagers, all swing open wide. The wind may fall and shine your stars, and by your fire to light. Villagers, all, joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy shall be yours in the morning. How do we do? Right in the middle of one of the joy, joy, joy passages, I saw Joy Rosner appear on the screen. We summoned her just by saying her name repeatedly. She wasn't even going to join rehearsal. She just felt the forces pulling her.
I felt the forces, I really did.
She walked like a zombie to her computer and logged into Zoom.
That's right, you got it.
That's how the whole thing went down. Okay, Chris, any questions about that, or can we move on to A Christmas Glory? Is that okay? We had beef tenderloin yesterday instead of turkey. We tried it. My wife contacted everybody who was going to come and said, how do you guys feel about beef tenderloin instead of turkey? And can we split the cost of it? Because for 18 people, it was $200. So she got 3 of them and wrapped them up, did a bunch of research on the best way to prepare it, wrapped it with string. I don't exactly know how long or what temperature, but man, oh man, was it good. And I don't know if we're going to be going back to Turkey. It was good. And the appetizers, oh my gosh, the appetizers were like a meal. We could have just had the appetizers. Spinach balls and bacon wraps and chips and dip and veggies and dip and gluttony. When I was a kid, we used to have to take a note to school asking for permission to miss school on Thanksgiving because it was a British school and they didn't observe it. And they sort of scoffed at us. Thanksgiving. Silly. They taught the Revolutionary War as a colonial uprising. That's how I first learned of the Revolutionary War. And it was like they spent like a day on it. Oh man, so British. And then, I would come home and say, we learned about a colonial uprising today, and my parents would just laugh. Here's the other side of the story. Okay, Christmas Gloria, best of luck to you. I'm not going to stop it, and then we'll fix whatever we need to fix. One, ready, go. Oh, I have the vocals muted. Silly man. But that was the right place. Here's 2 measures. One, ready, go.
Glory to God on high, on the earth be peace and goodwill to all. For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, who now is come from heaven.
Glory to God on high, on the earth be peace and goodwill to all. For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, who now is come from heaven.
Oh, hear the heavenly angels their joyful tidings tell.
This child is Christ our Savior, Jesus Emmanuel. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria.
Ángeles celestiales cantando nos Noel.
Este niño es Cristo, Jesús Emmanuel. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria.
Back to the beginning. One, ready, go.
Glory to God on high, on the earth be peace and goodwill to all. For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, who now is come from heaven.
Glory to God on high, on the earth be peace and goodwill to all. For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, who now is come from heaven.
Sing heralds of salvation, sing out to all the earth.
Till every tongue and nation hears of the Savior's birth. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria.
Verse 2 in Spanish. One, ready, go.
Cantemos, proclamemos, Cristo nos va a salvar.
Oigamos el mensaje, todos vamos a escuchar. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria.
Top of six. One, ready, sing.
So let us come before him, love and adore him.
To him our praises singing, glad worship bringing. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria. Gloria in excelsis, Gloria, Gloria. Gloria, Gloria, Gloria in excelsis.
Here's a brief tangent. I wish we could have a little mariachi band on this one. I just think it would be awesome to have, you know, three guitar, a bass acoustic guitar, and a little percussion. Which makes me think of, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos last night after everybody left. Somehow I got on a wormhole about Mel Blanc. Do you know who Mel Blanc is? He's the, you know, the voiceover artist from all the Looney Tunes cartoons. He did some other things too, but that's what he, you know, was famous for, being the voice of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, and Foghorn Leghorn and Yosemite Sam and Tweety Bird and Pepe Le Pew and Woody Woodpecker. The guy was just one of the most talented people I've ever seen on planet Earth. So I watched a bunch of YouTube shorts of him, and then I started watching a documentary about him. But there was an interview from like 1974 of him on Carson. With Jack Benny. I didn't know that he had done a bunch of live things on the Jack Benny show, and he was also on radio before he was famous for the Looney Tunes cartoons. He was on radio shows, and he could do all the voices. You know, he could switch characters back and forth rapidly and have a conversation with himself, but with, you know, 5 characters involved and changing voices and somehow keep them all straight.
What's his name again?
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc. Oh yes, Mel Blanc. I have.
Anyway, that apparently he did a lot of live appearances on Jack Benny's show, one of which is he's like a mariachi musician. And all he says is, "See, Mel," you know, Jack Benny says, you know, "Are you the leader of the band?" And he says, "See." And are these all your friends in the band? "See." "And what's your name?" "Cy." "Cy?" "See." And he's got a sister named Sue. And what does she do for a living? Sew. She sews. See. Anyway, it's that's my little tangent on this song, Mariachi, Mel Blanc. Okay, what questions do we have? What spots do we need to run?
I could use the Spanish, just run through the Spanish, singing it again.
Let's do the Spanish verses. So how am I going to find what measure that is? Because the measure numbers won't line up. I'll just peruse it quickly. Oh, maybe I marked it. 23-2. I did mark it. Here's 2 measures.
Son is given who now is come from heaven.
No.
Sing heralds of salvation.
Gloria in excelsis, Gloria.
Okay, here it comes. 2 bars before verse 1, I think, in Spanish. 1, ready, go. Nope, that's verse 2. Give me a minute.
Glory to God on high, Son is given who now is come from heaven.
Glory to God on high, on the earth be peace and goodwill to
Okay, here it is. 2 bars before verse 1 in Spanish. 1, ready, go.
Ángeles celestiales cantan
excelsis gloria.
One more time, verse 1 in Spanish. One, ready, go.
Ángeles celestiales cantándonos Noel.
Este niño es Cristo, Jesús Emmanuel.
Does that help to run it like that? Let's do verse 2 the same way. Just give me 20 minutes to find the spot. I think this might be it right here. Here comes verse 2 in Spanish. One, ready, go.
Cantemos, proclamemos, Cristo nos va a salvar.
Oigamos el mensaje, todos a escuchar. Gloria y
One more time. The other funny thing about watching Mel Blanc was how hard he made the other people laugh. Like he made Jack Benny and Johnny Carson. It's the hardest I've ever seen Johnny Carson laugh. And it's just from him doing these goofy voices. Here comes 2 bars. 1, 2, 1, ready, go.
Cantemos, proclamemos, Cristo nos va a salvar.
Oigamos el mensaje, todos a escuchar. Gloria.
Escuchar is a great word, isn't it? Okay. What else do we need on this? Do you want to run it again? Do you want to move on? Anybody need a spot check?
Move on.
Havana Shira. So just before we start this one, let me load the session. Make sure it's Havana. Those are all the same vowel, very tall and long this way. Havana. In our choir, we were having a little bit of problem on the E vowels. So Shira and Shirha. We were having a little bit of problem with the R creeping in too early. So it was coming out a little bit like Shira and Shirha. And I was having my choir just make sure you sing it E for 99.9% of the time, and the R comes in at the very last second. And we were also flipping the R. Yeah. Shira and Shirha. But just make sure the R sound doesn't creep in because that's not part of the Hebrew pronunciation. Val is saying, it's so funny, I'm from England and my American-born grandson is studying music in London where there was no Thanksgiving whatsoever. Yep. Okay, let me load the session here. Shira, shirha. No R sound creeping in. Hava. You might find this interesting. I had an assignment this week. I got a call from somebody who works for the Indianapolis Chamber Orchestra, not the Indianapolis Symphony, Indianapolis Chamber Orchestra. And for their Christmas concert, they are having an African-American gospel artist sort of be their featured guest. And this artist, among other things, wants to do a Whitney Houston song from the soundtrack of the Preacher's Wife. And they called around trying to find the sheet music for it. And of course, it exists somewhere, but you can't buy it or you can't get it or nobody returns the call. So they want to do a song, but don't have the sheet music. The guest artists, they've already learned it. They've got a band and singers, but they want to have the chamber orchestra play with them. And they want to have a choir sing with them. So somebody referred them to me. They wanted me to listen to the recording and write out the orchestra and the choir parts. So the recording has choir on it and it has strings. It does not have woodwinds, brass, or percussion. And they needed it in a week. So I said, okay. And this week I listened to the recording and figured out what the chords were in the piano band part. and then transcribe what I heard as the string parts. And then I had to transcribe what I heard as the choir parts. This is for a Christmas concert. I think it's next week or the week after or something.
Is this the hardest thing you do?
Well, it's I don't really know how to answer that question. I've just been doing it so long that it's like when I first started doing transcribing in my 20s, it was harder, but fast forward 30 years and everything sounds like something I've heard before. So what I used to have to take 20 minutes or an hour or 5 minutes to figure out what is that. Now, as soon as I hear it, I know what it is because it's just from repetition. So after transcribing everything that I heard in the recording, then I had to come up with percussion and brass and woodwind parts that were idiomatic for orchestra that also fit the song. And then I just export them all as, format them, export them all as PDFs and send them. And I've never met the people. I don't even know what they look like. I won't hear the concert. I just sit down here in my basement and write the parts and send it. I hit the play button and the software plays it back for me so I can make sure there's no mistakes on it. Because if you're in an orchestra rehearsal and there's a mistake, it's a nightmare because you can't always tell where it is. Like, okay, something's wrong, but there's 75 people on stage and it's costing $2,000 an hour. You don't want any mistakes. So I double check every part, make sure there's no missing accidentals, nothing that's unclear. Send it.
I hope you're very well paid for this.
I quoted what I feel the work is worth, and they said okay. So that's what I did.
have a question.
Yeah.
Excuse my voice.
Problem.
This is why I wasn't there on Wednesday, because I'm talking like this.
Oh, sorry.
Do you have perfect pitch?
I do not.
So you can just hear these notes and know exactly what they are.
Well, I use a piano, so I load the recording in and I line it up to the measure numbers so that measure one on the recording is measure one on my orchestral score, and then I listen to a few seconds of it and then I go ding 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 ding. What key are we in? Ding ding. And then I find the key that way. And then once I know what key I'm in, I can tell what the chords are pretty quickly just from years of repetition. So if you tell me I'm in the key of C and I hear somebody playing around in key of C, I can probably tell you what the chords are, not because I have perfect pitch, but because I know that we're in the key of C and I recognize the sounds now.
Because you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, it's everything sounds familiar to me. Every chord quality, and that's minor 7. As soon as I hear it, I know that's a minor 7 chord, just from thousands of hours of repetition. I think it's a learnable skill. I don't think it's like a superpower. I think it's just from repetition. Okay, here comes Hava Nashira. I thought you guys might find that interesting. Hava Nashira. Oh, I should back it up and do the whole intro instead of just part of it. One, two, ready, go. Going to stop it to say one thing. The desired effect is that we sing 4-bar phrases. Hava Nashira Shir Hallelujah without a breath. If you can do that, do it. If not, sneak a breath somewhere. Try not to sneak it at the end of the second measure. We don't want the song to sound like this. Hava Nashira Shir Hallelujah. And so if the whole song is 2-bar phrases, it sounds very chopped up. So if possible, sing a 4-bar phrase. If not, take a breath somewhere other than after the second measure of each little section so that it doesn't sound chopped up. If you have to breathe there, just do it discreetly so we don't hear it, and the group sound will still be 4 measures. Here comes again. Try not to stop. Try really hard not to stop. One, two, ready, and. Altos. Tenors and basses. I think this section, starting at 23, is so beautiful with the parts, a staggered entrance, and the accompaniment is varied a little bit. I think it's really, really pretty. Okay, what questions or concerns you have on this one? Pretty straight ahead. You feel pretty secure on it? Don't hesitate if you have a problem spot.
We can move on.
Okay, Midwinter Carol. I think this one's really, really pretty also. You know that children's game, I've heard it called the telephone game. There's maybe other names for it, where you sit in a circle and somebody whispers the original idea in the next person's ear, and then they whisper it to the person next to them, and then you see how much it's changed. By the time it gets to the end of the row, has the message changed at all, or is it word for word? That the thought occurs to me, this music, the Jonathan and Linda and a few others picked the music. They send it to me with some instructions. I make rehearsal tracks, and then it gets rehearsed every week in 4 or 5 different locations. How different does it turn out in each choir? If we were to put them side by side, Are directors doing it the same tempo? Are they doing the retards the same? Are they doing the dynamics the same? Even though we've all got the same sheet music, there's some room for interpretation. For example, Hava Nashira, we decided in Arlington Heights that the last phrase, it's marked mezzo forte, but we decided to keep it forte because we think the song ought to end big and not come down a level on the last phrase. But it might be that other choirs are not doing that. So I just find that interesting. One, two, three.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan.
Birds fly high as silent storm had fallen, snow in the bleak midwinter. Long, so long ago.
One, two, three.
In the bleak midwinter, angels from the shepherds came. For unto you a child is born, with great excitement they proclaim.
Sorry, a couple of people were saying it has static. Is that better? I turned it down. Did it get better there at the end? I don't want you to have to listen to the whole thing with static. I'm going to start it again. Just give me thumbs up or thumbs down on this on the level. Is that better? Sorry about that. Here we go.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan.
Birds fly high as
Silent storm had fallen, snow in the bleak midwinter. Long, so long ago. In the bleak midwinter, angels from the shepherds came. For unto you a child is born, with great excitement they proclaim. Gloria in excelsis Deo. In the bleak midwinter, long, so long ago.
One, two, three.
If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would turn my back. Yet what can I give him?
What can I give him?
I will give my heart. I will give my heart. I will give my heart.
So I realize each director at each location is going to take this one a little bit differently because there's room for interpretation. What spots do we need to hit for you personally?
I
I have one.
measure 46 on.
46 on in the soprano. Sorry, I can't hear you.
It would actually help just to sing the whole thing again.
You want to?
From 46.
Let me back it up, and we'll start there. And then Tia, what was your spot?
Mine was, I'm having trouble going from 44. It's the same note, same G, go at 44 and then into 46. For some reason, I mean, we've sung that G all over the place, but for some reason I miss it.
So that's a good point because it's a different chord tone. So like, let's just talk about this for a minute. Long ago, and then it stays here. For one beat in 45, it goes to a G sharp. The beat right before you come in, it moves to a G sharp, and then at 46, it goes back. So, go 1, 2, G sharp 1, and then it goes right back down. So I think it's tricky partly because the beat right before you come in, it changes, it goes up a half step. And that's a little bit tricky to go from this chord, G sharp to G natural in the A minor 7 chord. It's tricky. Long ago, 1, 2, 1. You have to sort of just sing that in your head. I don't know any other way to say it. Let me back up just a little bit before. Let's go from 40. In the bleak midwinter. See what that is? That's top of 8. Here's bass, tenor, alto, soprano. Right at measure 40. So how did you do? On the downbeat of what? We have bass, tenor, alto, soprano. Is that tenor note? Let's go one more time at 40, and then I won't stop this time. Here's at 40, here's bass, tenor, alto, soprano. That help a little bit, Marcia? So the very last phrase, the interpretation has sort of evolved in my own mind. Starting at 67, I'm going to do it more like this. 1, I will give my heart. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. I didn't really have a clear concept of it when I was making the rehearsal tracks. I think it goes a little fast on the rehearsal track. This one has lots of tricky spots. Yes.
I think the what can I give him is the same note as in the bleak midnight. If you can remember that note, that tone, you can start with the what, easier.
Where are you referring to?
I'm referring to what they were saying. 30, it's 40 in the bleak mid, the in is the same note as later on the 46. What can I give him? I'm sharing with the soprano singers. One time you told me, time ago, I asked the same question. You somehow gave me, and then every other section is one note below. What am I, poor as I am, if I were? So if you catch that, what can I give him? It's the same in the bleak midwinter, the same note.
Yeah.
Except for mid and I are different. Instead of the G, you're singing an E, and that's where I was stumbling, was that E. The end of measure 46, the last note of measure 46.
Oh, I see.
I got it now. Yeah.
You feel like you're kind of getting it now? Okay. Any other spots? Based on what's happening in my rehearsals on Wednesday, it feels like most people are sort of crossed over and they're really getting it now. Like it's tricky for a while, and then it's sort of, we learned it and now we're singing it correctly. Okay to move on? Okay, so next is Beautiful Star of Bethlehem. Beautiful Star of Bethlehem. Shining afar through shadows dim. When I load a new session, it opens all these little windows that cover the screen of your faces, so I have to go through and close them all. Sorry, you're having to wait. Okay, make sure the volume's down where it should be. Okay, give me a clue if it's too loud. Here it comes.
Oh, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shining afar through shadows dim, giving a light for those who long have gone, and guiding the wise men on their way unto the place where Jesus lay. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on.
1, 2, 3.
Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawns. Give us a lamp to light the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star, the hope of light, guiding the pilgrim through the night, over the mountains till the break of dawn, and into the light of perfect day. It will give out a lovely ray. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine.
Flip back. 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawns. Give us a lamp to light the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on.
Coda, right? Bottom of 6.
Oh, beautiful star, the hope of rest, for the redeemed, the good, the blessed, yonder in glory when the crown is won. For Jesus is now the star divine, brighter and brighter he will shine. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawns. Give us a lamp to light the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawns. Give us a lamp to light the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on.
Okay. Any tricky spots we want to work? It's somewhat repetitive. There's, obviously it's different in a few spots, but a lot of it is kind of repeat material.
Yes, please, the coda from 30 to 39, if we could sing that one more time.
Bet. Can I mark the coda on here? This might be the coda.
Oh, beautiful star.
Yeah, so I'll park it 2 measures before 32. That's kind of a tricky tenor and bass part. It doesn't exactly go where you think it oughta. Tenors and basses, let me just hear you for a second. Pickups to 32, tenors and basses. 1, 2, 3. Oh, beautiful star, the hope of rest, for the redeemed, the good, the blessed, yonder in glory when the crown is won. For Jesus is now the star divine, brighter and brighter he will shine. Beautiful, and then that part is kind of repeat material. Some of those notes don't go exactly where we think. So here's 2 bars before that with everybody singing. I'm parked right at the coda. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, beautiful star, the hope of rest, for the redeemed, the good, the blessed, yonder in glory when the crown is won. For Jesus is now the star divine, brighter and brighter he will shine. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Beautiful.
That help? It's kind of it's not a tenor part, it's not a bass part, it's like sort of halfway in between. Sometimes it feels like tenor, sometimes it feels like bass.
It's the when to get in. Sometimes I missed it over there because
the
I don't
coda?
know when the coda starts there with the accompaniment.
Oh yeah. Well, let's do this. Let me go back a little bit. Let's do measure 12 as though it were the second time. So bottom of page 3, as though it were the second time, and I'm going to conduct a little bit and talk a little bit to get us through the coda. So here's 12 the second time.
Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawns. Give us a lamp to light the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on.
Jump to the coda. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, beautiful star, the hope.
That help? That's what I'll do in the concert too. I'll just yell it out. Coda. Bottom of 6, and then I'll go 1, 2, 3, and nobody will miss it. Okay, any other spots in this one? Feel like you're getting it? It's fun for me to watch you guys singing. Even though I can't hear you, it's still beautiful to just see everybody concentrating on the same thing. Okay, next song is Carol of the Bells. So we have decided in Arlington Heights that we're going to do it a cappella. I don't know what your directors have decided, but for now, because we can't hear each other, we're going to have to use the piano to stay together. But we are going to try to do it a cappella in Arlington Heights. Gee whiz, all these windows. I wonder why they open every time. Because I try to save it with them closed. But I cannot bear to have them covering your faces. That's the main redeeming quality of Zoom rehearsal, is seeing your faces. Take away that, and I just don't know what I'll do, because we've already taken away the sound of your singing. Now we got to do it blind too? No. 3 more.
That's the way it was in the beginning, and I don't know how John did it. He was just looking at himself. I don't know how he did it.
Okay, here comes Carol of the Bells. Ready, sing. Alto. Tenors and basses.
Ding dong ding dong, that is their song. Blink, triple ring dong. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound. Oh, hear the dam telling the tale. Gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Ding, they sang dong without end. Triple tone, ding, every home. Dong, all the bells, sweet silver bells, and seem to say, Christmas is here, bring good cheer to young and old. Ding, and the boat, ding dong ding dong, that is their song. With triple ring dong, merrily. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound. Oh, hear the dam telling the tale. Gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Ding, they sang dong without end. Triple tone, ding, every dong, they sang dong without end. Their joyful tone to every home. Ding dong, ding dong.
Sorry, at the end there, I'm having to follow the track. So the way I'm gonna direct it for my choir is at 45, which is the second ending on page 7. On this end, on without end, their joyful tone to every home. Ding dong, ding dong, dong. That's how I'm going to do it. Your director may do it a little differently, but that's the way I feel it. Yes, Marcia.
On page 7, when the sopranos and altos sing dong for the second ending, are we singing dong or are we singing dong?
I'm asking my choir to close to the NG right away and just make it dong.
Oh, okay.
The different directors in different locations, they may say keep it open, but I'm having everybody close to the NG on every single ding and dong, regardless. So even like bottom of 6, where the altos and basses have long ding dong. So the first ending, second ending, all those long notes, I'm having them close to the NG always. Is anybody's director having them do it differently? Like at other locations on the long ones, are they having you stay on the vowel ding dong ding? Not
Karen, do you remember? Okay.
I don't think it's really come up and downers or even Wheaton. I don't think we focused on that sound.
Okay, we'll have
Thanks.
to ask them. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, Hannah's doing it with the NG, so in Evanston. So
Evanston emphasize the G, the pronunciation, not just N.
Yeah.
So
the
that's the rule.
NG,
Yeah.
NG, and yeah. And the same downtown with the dementia choir downtown. It's the NG with Jonathan. So
Great. Let's go again from the top. One more run through, and then we'll talk about anything you need. Ready, sing. Alto. Basses. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound. Oh, hear the dam, telling the tale. Gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Deary, merry, merry, merry Christmas. Deary, merry, merry, merry Christmas. Ding, this and dawn without end. Ding, dong, dong, ding, merry home. Don't count the bells, sweet summer bells. Back to the first page. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old. Don't count the bells. Ding dong, ding dong, that is their song. With triple ring dong, caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound. Oh, hear the dam, telling the tale. Gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Deary, merry, merry, merry Christmas. Deary, merry, merry, merry Christmas. Ding, this and dawn without end. Ding, triple tone, ding, merry. Dawn, this and dawn without end. Their joyful tone to every home. Okie doke. You okay on this one? Ecce novum. So here's the bass note. You're gonna have 3 clicks and then you're in. Here it comes. 2, 3. Everybody else right here. Letter A. Ecce novum. 1, 2, 3. One, two. One, two, three. Tenors. Two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, off. Okay, lots of tricky spots in this one. I think one of the hardest parts is bottom of 11. Just for like 4 measures, it suddenly gets real hard. And the altos in Arlington Heights were having a really, really challenging time with the Dei Filium measures. What measures are challenging for you? How can I help?
Letter C for the sopranos, pardon me. And then going into the mood on page 10. I guess really page 10. I guess page 10, you know, if on the top bar.
Starting at moo?
Yeah, starting with mood. It's we went over it the other day too with Jonathan, and we got it, but I don't know, I'm not getting it, so I don't know.
Let's go. Last measure, top of 10, sopranos on the word mutatsu. Here we go. Sopranos, last measure, top of 10. 1, 2, 3. Mutatsu ayura. Just those measures are the hard ones, right? We don't need to go on at this moment at 95. Let's do mu again. 1, ready, go. Mutatsu ayura. The lower out soprano part is yura, and the upper one is yura. Did that help a little bit to isolate it like that? What other spots?
Lower alto at 104. And then how the lower alto relates to the higher alto.
Yep.
Hear our part and then hear the contrast part.
So here's, this is 104, lower alto. Dei fi, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1. Dei filium. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 1. Dei filium. The upper part is Dei filium. Again. Dei filium. And then the two parts together. And 1. One more time, the two alto parts together, and 1. Now let's add the soprano. Here's the alto, here's the soprano. This is 104. 1, 2, 3, 1. Beautiful writing. I really like it. Let's try it with the tenors leading us in. So 103, tenors enter first. The tenors have this. Basses have this. Here we go, tenors. 1, 2. One more time. So the bass entrance is, tenor is, alto is, soprano is. So here's the bass note, alto note, soprano note. Tenors lead us in. 1, 2. Hey, guess what? Our time's up.